The Weather Xtreme video. This is the afternoon edition for Friday, the 8th of January. I'm James Spann. Got some rain tomorrow. As the weekend begins, cold air blowing in here Sunday. Let's dive in there and talk about it. We'll start, as we often do, with the water vapor satellite view. Nice trough coming out of the southwest United States. We're watching southeast Texas. There could be some severe weather in that region later today and tonight. That's the radar from Houston at 2:51. So far, the storms are under severe limits. That's a visible satellite shot showing our state today. Some breaks in the overcast in pockets, but the sky is mostly cloudy. Temperatures are generally in the 50s, Birmingham at 56. We'll expect a high tomorrow in the upper 50s to near 60. Some low 60s are possible in spots, but after that, it turns cold on Sunday. In fact, you can see that new surge of cold air coming down into the northern plains, where temperatures are barely above zero near the Canadian border. And it's just going to get very cold up there. It's going to be a brutal game in Minneapolis-St. Paul when the Vikings play the Lions Sunday. Kickoff temperature near zero. The wind chill index about 20 below zero. On the watch warning map, we've got winter weather advisories for parts of Texas, the Panhandle, northern Oklahoma, up into parts of South Missouri, with the feature that will bring rain in here tomorrow. Convective outlook, look at that. Now we have an enhanced risk of severe weather around Houston and Lake Charles. The standard slight risk surrounding that, a marginal risk as far east as New Orleans. And then tomorrow there is a marginal risk of severe weather for parts of North and West Alabama and the immediate Gulf Coast. It's basically west of a line from Huntsville down to Birmingham and Demopolis. We'll take a look at the severe weather parameters in just a second. Rain for the next 5 days, valid through Wednesday evening of next week, suggesting about 1/2 inch where we are. We'll check the GFS. This is the 12Z run, valid tomorrow at noon. Pretty intense trough to the west, fairly dynamic setup there. At the surface, a low is near Memphis. Rain will likely move in here tomorrow morning. It's not going to rain all day. It's going to rain at times, and clearly a chance of some thunder. This is the main, limiting factor, the instability. This is the surface-based Cape tomorrow. At 6 o'clock. And there's a little bit. The instabilities ramp up to over 500 joules per kilogram in spots. That's not much, but as we often say, it doesn't take a lot of Cape for some strong storms in January. And, of course, these numbers are very high. This is the storm relative helicity in the lowest 1 kilometer of the atmosphere. And that makes you just think, we might have some low-top convection without much thunder and lightning, but the cells might be rotating. So the idea of a little spin-up tornado is not totally out of the question here, not especially likely, but it's not out of the question either. And this is the significant tornado parameter. It ramps up to 1 unit over Bibb and Chilton and Dallas and Autauga counties. And again, we'll just have to watch the radar for any surprises tomorrow. I don't think severe weather is going to be a big problem, but we could see some strong storms, and again, some of those things might try and rotate. All right, this is Sunday. That system is out. Windy and snowy for Detroit, Cleveland. And again, Sunday's going to be a raw day. We'll kind of settle down into the 30s. Up in the Tennessee Valley, they might settle down to near 30 and stay there all day. You factor in a strong north wind. It's going to make it feel colder. Maybe some light drizzle in spots and maybe a few snow flurries up in the Tennessee Valley, but no impact from that. Monday, cold and dry. Monday morning will be cold. We'll see a lot of spots probably in the teens to start the day. The GFS is printing 21 for Birmingham. A sunny day, the high will be in the 40s. Tuesday, cold and dry, but a reinforcing surge of cold air coming in with a clipper. That front should pass through in dry fashion Tuesday evening. And Wednesday, we turn colder. And again, I think we stay in the 30s all day Wednesday. That'll be a very cold day. We'll start the day probably in the low 20s, and this is Thursday. Thursday morning will be cold. And again, we'll be down in the low 20s more than likely. High Thursday afternoon should be in the middle 40s. And this is a week from today, Friday the 15th. You see energy to the west of the state, and that could squeeze out some rain on Friday the 15th. And maybe a few snowflakes over northern Arkansas and parts of Tennessee north of Interstate 40. But again, for us, that looks like a chance of some light rain. Saturday the 16th, that wave is on by. Again, we're cold and dry. And Sunday the 17th, we're mostly rain-free. So The pattern looks cold, but again, maybe some light rain around Friday of next week. Now, this is the European, just for another model look. This is for the 17th. Same thing. This is Sunday the 17th, and we're dry. You know, just yesterday we had one run of the GFS show this massive snowstorm for the Northeast. Well, it's off the board now. And this is Monday the 18th, back to the GFS. It's got a coastal low off the Outer Banks. But again, we're trying to resolve the active southern branch 10 days in advance. You just can't do that. Arctic Oscillation tries to go neutral here, maybe in about 10 days. Maybe that'll shut down the cold air machine for a while. The NAO stays mostly negative, but clearly next week is going to be cold. And again, these numbers coming off the GFS ensembles, I think you need to lower these. A good chance we stay in the 30s much of the day Sunday. That high of 51 Sunday there, that'll come at probably midnight, 12:01 a.m. And then Wednesday of next week, I think we could stay in the 30s much of the day. Those numbers look almost 10 degrees too warm in some cases. That's it for the Weather Xtreme video today. We'll have notes in the blog. Next video here, my next video, will be Monday morning at 7. Brian Peters, the man that looks like Colonel Sanders, will have the video updates tomorrow and Sunday. And if you can't catch us this evening on the live stream or the television side, ABC 3340 News at 4, 5, 6, and 10 o'clock. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend, and God bless.